How do you charge the maximum amount of money for your product when you're selling it online? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you 12 e-commerce tips that will help you build your own e-commerce empire. Now, I want to give a little hat tip here to Kathleen Burgon, I think I've pronounced that properly, who came up with these tips. I want to make sure that she's been referenced for this. But these are really, really good. I've added my own little flavor to it as well, as you'll see. And I think if you're looking to sell things online and you're wanting to price your products so you get the maximum money for it, you're going to really enjoy this. Now, if you like this kind of information where I'm helping you make more money online, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. That way, I'll know you want more information just like this. Also, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Post brand new money-making information just like this each and every day. If you've got any questions or comments, comment below, and I'll answer them perfectly personally for you. With that being said, let's get into making money online. First up, I use this all the time. So if I'm doing a price on a sales letter or an info letter, and the info letter is in 16-point font, for instance, or 17-point font, then I will make the price in 13-point font, for instance. So I'll reduce the font size of the price. It really works. It really works. So if something's big, it feels like it's big. Price-wise, it feels big. But if something's little, teeny tiny, it's much, much easier. Doesn't feel so big, okay? So reduce the font size of your price. Next, if you don't put in this case, a dollar sign in front of something, you don't really think about it as being money. You just think about it as being the numbers, okay? And this has been tested heaps and heaps. Not putting the dollar sign in front of it means that people assume it's, for some reason, less. It's not as pricey because there's no money involved. I guess that's what's going on. So if you can, test it. Just take away the dollar sign away from the beginning of your price and just have the numbers instead. Okay, just have the numbers instead. Next, exact numbers appear bigger. So I used to use this. Here's an example of that. When I used to buy and sell businesses for a living a long, long time ago, when we would send an offer for a business, I would send a very, very exact number, like 1,302,859.53. Very, very exact number, okay? Because it feels like it's bigger. It feels like it's a bigger number. Ooh, I'm getting a lot. They want my business and they're getting a lot for it versus 1.3 million. So if you want something to appear like it's a lot, use a very, very exact large number, okay? So stretch that little baby out. On the other side, of course, abbreviated numbers, well, they seem smaller. So if you've ever listened to me on a webinar where I'm selling something on a webinar, typically I'll talk about things that are 112K, for instance. I won't use like $12,000. I'll use the abbreviated version. And that's because, again, things that are done like that, they seem smaller. They just seem smaller to us, yeah? So if you want a big price to look small, use the abbreviated version of it. You'll see this. Now I'm going to show you this. Every time you go out to eat, you'll see this. So I used to be a restaurateur, had quite a few restaurants of my own. And restaurants, if you don't know, make the majority of their money from wine. That's really how the restaurant industry works. Food typically makes around about 7 to 12% margin on food. But it's wine what makes the real money, okay? So most wine lists, good wine lists anyway, they start with a very, very high-priced wine. And what that does is it sets a expectation for what wine costs. And then everything beneath that is then anchored to that first price, making it appear, in this case, much, much cheaper. So if I started instead with the sparkling rosé at $12 a glass, then everything would look more expensive. But because it's been started with the Prosecco at $23 a glass, then everything looks cheaper. Oh, I can't afford the Prosecco, but I can afford the sparkling rosé, the Pinot Grigio, blah, 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 at those other prices. You'll see it all the time now in good restaurants. You'll see it all the time. So how do we use that? Oftentimes, a really good strategy to use is to have something that is in your store that is very expensive, because it anchors everything else as a price point, by doing that, okay? You'll see it, for instance, if you ever looked at the Financial Review in Australia, if you go to their subscription page, you'll see they anchor the price of the Financial Review by trying to sell you the newspaper alone, like the print version, or the digital version on its own, or best price, the print and digital, okay? They use that all the time. It's exactly the same psychology here. Anything else I can tell you about that? No, I think that's it. Oh, interesting factoid. The #1 selling wine on any wine list is the second cheapest wine. #1 selling wine on any price list is the second cheapest wine. Always. I don't know why. It always is. Okay. Anyway, onwards. Red and small font. So if you put something in red and it's small, that is a great deal. That tells us it's really, really good. Now, this works really, really well for men. So if you're selling to guys, this is a really, really great. Not a lot of guys are going to be buying vacuum cleaners. I doubt. A bit sexist of me to say that, but probably accurate as well. But still, it seems to work really, really well for dudes. Okay, so as a pricing strategy, it works really, really well. So you show the amount of discount in red, and that is, it gives this kind of contrast, visual contrast, that makes it seem like a really good deal. So if you get the opportunity to do that, it's a really good thing to do. And I took this from Amazon because I wanted to mention that Amazon are masters at this. They're masters. I posted something in our Facebook group earlier today about this as well. Numbers that end in 99 or 97 or 95 seem cheaper than the whole number. Okay, so whilst $9.99 is only 1 cent away from $10, psychologically, they are worlds apart. They are worlds apart. Okay, so something that is $9.99 feels like it's much cheaper than something that's $10. Why? It's just a quirk of human nature. So when you're pricing, very, very important. Okay. Here's an example of that. Odd numbers, they seem like a better deal. So $12.99, we see 1,200, not 1,300. Okay, that's how it kind of works. On the other side of that, if you've ever been in Louis Vuitton or Chanel or Prada, Gucci, or any of those kind of high-end shops, you'll notice their pricing is always the whole number. They never, ever use that strategy, because what they want to look like is they want to look expensive. They're doing everything they can to look expensive. That's the cachet of their brands. Their whole shtick is only expensive, only wealthy people can afford this. If you've got it, you are wealthy. Therefore, you have elevated status within society. That's their entire shtick, okay? And so because of that, they always advertise in round numbers, never the 3,795. They'd never use that, okay? So round numbers are used to sell luxury products. Always. Round numbers sell luxury. Specific numbers, this anchors your expectations. So if you're looking to sell multiple items of a thing, if you've got something that can be brought not just as a single purchase, but as a multiple purchase of it, if you say buy, in this case, 18 for your freezer, you then set the anchor around how many people should buy. Okay, you set the anchor around that. You'll see this used heaps as well. People use it in very, very interesting ways, like toothpaste advertising is a classic of this. When you see somebody advertising toothpaste, you see them squirt a shitload of toothpaste onto the toothbrush. You do not need that much on there. You only need a tiny amount of toothpaste on the toothbrush, but it anchors our expectations about how much to use, and therefore lots of people put that much toothpaste on. You don't need it, but it uses the toothpaste faster. That's good for the business's business, yeah? This is exactly the same thing. So you can use this to anchor in expectations of quantity to be purchased. Very, very cool. This is good. It never ceases to amaze me, the quirkiness of human behavior. It's crazy. So the difference between saying something is 50% off versus buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free always outperforms 50% off. They're the same thing. They're the same thing, but quirk of human nature, we don't perceive it as being the same. We perceive it as one thing where we're getting a whole new thing for free versus just getting a discount on the existing thing. And because of that, it constantly outperforms. It constantly outperforms. And if you use it, it's also, as I've demonstrated here, more profitable as well. So offering something for free often will beat a discount, often beats discount. So 2 for 1 usually beats discount, discount, okay? Last one for you. Breaking prices down and demonstrating things like what that costs you per week, what it costs you per day, things like that, is a really, really good strategy. Like if you drive down any high street where there are cars for sale, typically what you'll see is cars being advertised as a X amount of dollars per month, okay? And the reason they do that is because it works. It draws our attention away from the actual price of the car and instead focuses it on a much smaller quantum of money, which is the monthly charge for the car, okay? And it also sets expectations, something else, around getting finance for the car, which is really where car companies make most of their money anyway. So if you can use this as a comparison, like it will cost you, using this product will cost you X per day, X per week, X per use, for instance. It's really a very good thing to do. So if you can do that, super, super cool. We love to compare things. So if you've got, here's what this would cost you, but here's what this would cost you, it's a really cool thing to do. That was a video from the Monday night regular Q&A session I host with the members of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. We are the fastest growing community of e-commerce entrepreneurs right here in Australia. Over 2,500 members and growing, with sales, by the way, of over $50 million. Now, if you're not in Australia, no worries at all. You can still come and join us. And to find out more about what we do, and of course to join us as well, get yourself off to www.aussieonlineentrepreneurs.com.au. The link is below for that. That's www.aussieonlineentrepreneurs.com.au. And I will see you on the next video. Till then, have a great one. Make some cash. Bye.